Hey guys, what's going on? Watomarmelon back here again with another market watch. So today's going to be June 17th. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And the best way to support is just to click the eBay link in the description below before you make any purchase on eBay. That's greatly appreciated. So starting things off, we have Wild Survivors. This has kind of been an interesting set to look at. It's had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and it seems like the supply is now at a more reasonable level. Recently, a lot of the supplies of these modern sets has been a bit too high for demand, and so we're seeing box prices that are sort of plummeting below $55. Specifically, any box that's below $60 I would consider to be overprinted relative to the demand. Now this one's at around $65, and if you look at the collector rares out of this set, I believe there's been some recent Vanquish support, or there's some, the deck is pretty good right now, or it's expected to be good. So these cards have gone up considerably, and so you're seeing Solar Raisin already above $100. You can see it's been kind of bought out, the lowest listing at around $150. The other ones are also doing quite well. I do like the artwork for these things, but as a collector, I just really can't spend the money that players are on the collector's rares. Other than that, you have There Can Only Be One. I honestly haven't seen the foiling on this, so it might be a really, really nice foiling. Again, I'm sure this is primarily for players because this is the highest rarity of There Can Only Be One. There's some Dino stuff, which is a lot of fun. I really would like this Ultimate Conductor Tyranno card, but I just can't see myself spending $65 on it. Maybe if dinosaurs really become irrelevant and this drops to, $40 or something like that, I might pick it up. But until then, probably won't pick it up. The other one, Hungry Burger, I will buy a playset of this thing at some point. At least one. I plan to buy a playset, but I said in my previous video, I think it was around $60 back then. It's starting to hit $50 now. I think it's going to continue to go down. Typically, these sort of meme collector's cards, they always have some interest, but they don't sustain the same level of interest that they do when they're, first released. And people just sort of forget about the meme as time goes on. A year from now, I'd be very surprised if Hungry Burger is still a $50 card. Only time will tell. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think this deck is playable, the one that uses Hungry Burger, and I can't imagine that collectors are going to be so caught up on this one card that it maintains this price point. But again, who knows? Fire Formation Tanky, don't know why this got a CR, already has an ultimate. Konami, why do you keep doing that? If it has an ultimate rare, it doesn't need a collector's rare. Print it in secret rare so it's more available for players in a nicer rarity. And then collector rare you can use for newer cards or cards that don't already have a high rarity printing. But other than that, interesting set. I kind of like this set a lot. This is one that I'll be looking at once the cards are no longer playable for sure. Because I think the artworks are really cool. Especially this one right here. Dr. Madlove. I love how bizarre looking the hands are. It kind of reminds me of some of the Pegasus cards from back in the day. Anyways, other interesting CRs, we have Rescue Ace Hydrant. I said I liked this card artwork a while ago, but I wasn't willing to spend the money, and then it got bought out in probably around late April, and you can see that it sort of shot up. And it's starting to get bought out again. You can see the yearly trajectory. It's had two sort of price spikes, and recently it's starting to go back up again. You can see there are only 3 listings left, $90, $90, $96. Again, I'm assuming that this is a very playable deck, the Rescue Ace deck, but while this card looks cool, I am not willing to pay the money for that thing right now. This is a card that I love. I think that this card looks incredible. And I think the artwork, again, is beautiful. I've always loved the Ancient Guardians cards. I just think that the set was just printed way, way, way too much. And you can see the trajectory. It's really doing quite well. If we look at the yearly trajectory, and it's going back up. So this is one that's really been falling out for a long time now. Someone bought a playset of this at $60 a piece. That, to me, is insane. I think I have 4 or 5 of these things, but I don't know if I'm going to try to sell into the hype or not, because I do genuinely like the artwork and I want to have them. But now it's a $50 card, unless the deck goes crazy. I know there's good support coming, but I can't imagine that this thing is, too expensive. But it's a really beautiful card. Phenomenaga, again, this thing is just sort of climbing. This one hasn't seen the same sort of meteoric rise, but this, in my opinion, is the most beautiful collector's rare out there, okay? And so if you want this as a collector's card, it hasn't gone up too much. It's still a sub $20 card, and so I think it's worthwhile to get, but I don't know if the new deck actually uses Phenomenaga. I don't know how it incorporates it into the strategy. You can see that it's been tumbling for a while, and it's starting to go back up. But it's a beautiful card, so if you just want an interesting one, I recommend it. Looking at Ancient Guardians, I'm assuming Snake Rain is also being bought out because Snake Rain, 11 listings, lowest listing, $59. I mean, people want this card to go crazy. It hasn't gone crazy yet, but it's one that I think its effect is just, it has so much potential that people really want Snake Rain to go well. This is also a beautiful collector's rare. I have a couple of these, and I can tell you that the foiling looks awesome. You can see that this thing's been bought out, so we'll see where everything ends up. Ancient Guardian boxes, $35. I mean, that's kind of crazy how cheap it actually is. Hopefully, these start coming off shelves as people want to crack them for these collector rares, but we'll have to see. Dual Academy, I bought one of these. As you can see, it's sort of been falling out. It's fallen out considerably over the past couple of months. It's sort of stabilizing right now, I guess. But if we look at listings without photos, you can see that there are $13, $14 versions of this card. I think it looks cool. If you're a GX fan like I am, I would highly recommend it because it's just a fun card. I'm a big fan, so I'm happy that it's got some sort of recognition. I'm happy it got a cool collector rare printing. It also has a nice prismatic secret rare printing in the OCG, their equivalent of the Starlight rare, and so if you collect Japanese cards, this one looks really, really nice in that rarity as well, so I'd recommend that you check it out. Moving on, we are now looking at Secret Pharaoh's rares. These are ones that I personally never really understood. Like, I like them out of King's Court, the Egyptian god ones, because those were kind of like a very, very cool gimmick. I thought that the hieroglyphs work well for these ones. And I think the Secret looks better than the Ultra. I don't know what the market says. I think the Ultra is just rare because it's only printed in Europe, and the Secret's in NA, but for me, the Secret Pharaoh's rare doesn't fit the bill as sort of a super high rarity. I just don't think it looks as good as like an Ultimate rare or a Collector's rare or a Starlight rare or Ghost rare for sure. I think those other rarities just look better than this one. So I don't know if there's someone honking outside, but I don't know if I really feel that this should command a super high price point. I get that it's rare. It's only out of Magnificent Mavens. We'll see if they try to use this gimmick again for other cards, but for me, I don't know. I have a feeling that a lot of these cards are just going to get other high rarity printings, and then this one's going to fall off, the face of the earth. You can look at something like Lightning Storm's not a super expensive version of the Secret Pharaoh's rare, already has a Starlight and a Collector's, and I think people just don't really want the Secret Pharaoh's rare that much. Seal of Orichalco's true name, I think some of these do fit the sort of theme quite well with the Egyptian hieroglyphs, but overall, not a huge fan of this rarity, and I think that the Dark Magician Girl at $5.50, to me, like, this has always been just a crazy, and it just keeps going up and up. I just don't understand it. And I don't think it's sustainable. Like, this, to me, give it a couple years, people are going to come to their senses. I'm always confident that, or not always, but I'm confident that this is a competitive enough market that eventually people will come to their senses and be like, okay, this doesn't make sense. It can't keep going up like this. It's not that good of a rarity. Like, it's starting to get in the same price range as like the MFC original printing. It's already more expensive than a near mint unlimited print of that. I get that the first edition is still, much higher than this, but how much more can it climb? It feels like it's crazy that it's more expensive than the unlimited near mint, considering that MFC was never reprinted, or Magician's Force. Next up, we have some Starlight Rares. We have Visas Starfrost. This one's been bought out. You can see there are only 5 listings left. Lowest listing is 246. Excuse me. Cool looking card. It's kind of like one of those anime cards. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think this is playable. So I know it's playable, and I think it has recent support announced. So we'll see where this one ends up. It's an interesting looking card. Next up, Triple Tactics Talent. This is one that's always been expensive, but you can see that a couple of recent sales have really buoyed this to one of the highest value Starlight Rares of all time. And you can see that there are only a couple of listings left. One at $720, one at $725, $800, and then you're quickly getting close to $1,000. So we'll see where this one ends up. This is obviously a playable one. Next up, IP Masquerena. This is why you have to be careful about modern high-rarity printings, okay? It can't go up forever. You have to be careful. And the big reason why, and this to me is one of the better modern Starlight Rares to get, because I think this was released in the second Starlight Rare set. I think Chaos Impact was the second one. And this was the Chase card from that set. Apollosa obviously is sort of the most premier Starlight Rare, but the problem is that it can always get another high rarity printing in a short period of time, and certainly the Quarter Century Secret Rare is nearly identical to the Starlight Rare, and so this one has a Quarter Century Secret Rare. And you have to wonder, is Apollosa safe as well? I always think this is going to be the high rarity because I believe that the first printing holds value over these reprints for the most part, as long as it's the high rarity original printing. But it's getting a nearly identical printing, and it's really, really tumbling. You can see that there are listings at $1,100 or so, and we'll see where it ends up, but not looking good for a lot of these modern cards. And when I see something like Dark Magician Girl Secret Pharaoh's Rare, I wonder to myself, when will that one fall out? I don't see that one continuing to go up forever. Again, Starlight Rare Exodia, this is one that people said, oh, this is, such an incredible printing of a card. It's so hard to get. I agree. It hadn't received a high rarity printing like this. And so it was an incredible choice, but then they doubled down with the Quarter Century Secret Rare, which is essentially, it's nearly identical to Starlight Rare. And you can see that it's already sub $5. It's $450. I mean, this thing was hitting price points $635. Like, it was going up and up and up, and now it's going down and down and down. One interesting thing I didn't think about is the Exodia limbs, because I don't think those are getting printings in. What did I just click on? I clicked on this ad. The Exodia limbs are also falling out a little bit. I wouldn't expect them to fall out nearly as much as the head, because people are still going to be going for the full set. So we'll see where the other Exodia limbs go. Those actually might go up, because now more people are trying to complete the set, because the head isn't as expensive. But we'll have to see. Next up, we have Zeus. This is one that got a Quarter Century Secret Rare. No sales in quite some time. Well, there was one 11 days ago, then one back in May, but $405, that is lower than these other sales. You can see that it is starting to go down. $470, $550. Even though it's not shown on the graph yet that it's going down because there haven't been sales, people are not spending money on these Starlight Rares knowing that a Quarter Century Secret Rare is right around the corner. And so I just can't be confident in a lot of these modern cards, knowing Konami can just reprint them. Starlight Rare, Lightning Storm, really gone down since it was put to 2 on the ban list. I actually think this is kind of an interesting buy right now. You can see that it's sub 200. If this becomes a meta-relevant card, well, I think it's still certainly a playable card, but if it becomes more and more popular, this is one that I don't like betting against, because I think this can be a $400 card. And so if you like betting on the market a little bit, this to me seems like one that's worth betting on. And I think it's a beautiful card. Actually, I kind of want this as a collector's card, but again, it's still hard for me to spend almost $200 on a card when it's a modern Starlight Rare. We'll have to see. Yatagarasu, this one's just fallen out. I think there might be just generally fatigue with Starlight Rares. You can see that there was a sale at 108. Still tons of listings at 108. We'll see where this one ends up. Obviously, it's not a playable card in modern formats, and while it's a really cool looking card, collectibles as a whole just haven't been sustaining their price points, and so we'll see where something like this ends up. Book of Lunar Eclipse, this is one that I just love. I kind of want to finish my playset now because it's back to $85. It got kind of a buyout where it started going crazy for a while. You can see some sales at $125. I don't think it was ever playable really, but now that it's going down and down, I like to pick up more of this because I think this is a beautiful card. I would highly recommend it. It gives off kind of like the Magic Formula feel. So if there's one that you're interested in picking up, if you like spell cards and Starlight, this is an incredible looking one. Firewall Dragon Singularity. There's a listings at 70 for this card. I don't know if this is playable in any capacity. I'm kind of guessing it isn't, but this seems very like a pretty solid deal for a Starlight rare. I actually might pick up these two ones at $70. Look quite appealing to me, let's just say, because I think this looks insane. So this is one I'm actually looking at. So I don't know why I put it on Market Watch, but I might pick those up. Next up, we have Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. You can see more of these just modern collectible cards, not super playable. I know this is kind of playable. $30 for an ultimate rare. I mean, this used to be this was a $70 card. I think it was like close to $100 long time ago. I don't remember exactly where it was, so don't quote me on that, but this used to be so expensive. Got a ghost rare, and also this ultimate rare. I forget if it got another high rarity printing, but yeah, just not as premium as it used to be. This is starting to get at the price point where I'm interested, so there's a lot of stuff that I might make a big purchase here. We'll see. And then finally, to end it all off, I have Ryza, the Storm Monarch. You guys know I love my Monarchs. Not a ton of listings. I guess Ideal 808 has 3 of them at 173, but not a ton of listings. As with a lot of the Monarchs, people just playing Edison formats and past formats really, really like the Monarchs because they're super powerful and generic. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And as always, use the eBay link to support me. But it's been your boy, Watomarmelon. Peace out.